Welcome to Unknown Theory. In today's video we'll explain and go over the famous conspiracy theories surrounding the 9/11 terrorist attacks. Disclaimer, we can't confirm any of the theories or stories we talk about in our channel. All stated information is purely for entertainment purposes. September 11, 2001 was the day that changed the course of the United States as we know it. It was a regular day for anyone, when suddenly two airplanes crashed against the World Trade Center Twin Towers. The first plane crashed at 8:46 a.m., against the first tower. The second plane crashed against the second tower at 9:02 a.m. There was even a third plane that crashed into the western side of the Pentagon, which started a violent fire, resulting in the collapse of 5 stories of part of the Pentagon. And on top of the terrorists' attacks, a third building, called Building 7. The building completely collapsed, yet no plane hit it. From the September 11th attacks, 2,996 people were killed, and more than 6,000 others were injured. There were people who even died years after, because of diseases derived from the exposure to smoke and dust, diseases such as cancer, lung problems, and brain failures. The attacks were so horrific that after the impact, many people who were in the building, and knew they were gonna die, decided to jump and commit suicide. Here are some clips. Viewer discretion is advised. After these horrendous events, everyone suspected the obvious. That it was a terrorist attack. Every news outlet started saying it was an attack by terrorist organization Al-Qaeda, and his leader, Osama bin Laden, explicitly stated that Al-Qaeda's motives for their attacks include support of Israel by the US, American immorality, presence of US military in Saudi Arabia, military conflict in many cities, sanctions imposed against Iraq, and others. But after looking at the facts, explanations and theories, we honestly believe that all the attacks on the 11th of September were an inside job. First off, we'll start with the Twin Towers. On September 11th, the North Tower was supposedly hit by American Airlines Flight 11, and the South Tower was hit by United Airlines Flight 175, both Boeing 767 aircrafts. And the biggest conspiracy is that 2 planes didn't actually hit the towers. In fact, it was only 1. With 9/11 being an inside job, many people speculate that the terrorist attack planes were actually a distraction for explosives planted throughout the World Trade Center towers. The first plane did crash, but take a look at this video of the second plane crashing against the southern tower. Doesn't it look fake or edited? Yeah, well, that is because seconds after the attacks, the FBI and CIA confiscated all security camera footage from around, and released after. Why would they want to confiscate those tapes? Well, apparently because the real damage the towers suffered were from bombs inside the buildings. Many people who were in the lobbies or walking by, said they heard bombs going off in the first floors.
No second plane. It was a bomb. Bomb in another building, not second plane. That was a bomb.
The ladies that are with me were in the World Trade Center in the first building and escaped through the lobby where they believe there was a bomb in the lobby.
And even the turnstile was burnt and was sticking up, and they just told us to run.
And as we were coming out, we passed the lobby. There was no lobby. So I believe the bomb hit the lobby first, and a couple of seconds in the first plane.
They were having coffee in the World Trade Center when the first plane struck.
And all of a sudden it sounded like, I don't know where the subway is, but it sounded like a subway collision, a bomb, and it was just pounding, boom, 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 and I literally thought the subway had exploded and all the cars couldn't land on top of it because it's so loud.
Even the New York Fire Department reported hearing ground floor level explosions and fires. And if you see the clip of the towers falling, you can see they fell in a free fall in their same footprints, as if it were a controlled demolition. Many theories have risen as to why the government would want to destroy the World Trade Center main towers. The main one is that the US government put the blame on Al-Qaeda and Osama bin Laden, so that he had an excuse to invade Afghanistan, Al-Qaeda's home territory, and Iraq. Why Iraq? Because President Bush gave a conference saying that they will attack Iraq as well because they support terrorism. But in reality, it's because Iraq is rich with oil. And alongside that excuse to invade Iraq, President Bush benefited himself with the war against terrorism, which helped him win his second election campaign. It can't also be a coincidence that George Bush's brother was the director, and his cousin the CEO of the security firm responsible for the electric security network of the World Trade Center. And after the attacks, World Trade Center security guards confessed that, coincidentally, 5 days before the attacks, the security firm ordered the removal of all explosive-sniffing security dogs. Also, President Bush and the bin Laden family have been connected through dubious business deals since 1977, when Salem, brother of Osama and the head of the bin Laden family business, one of the biggest construction companies in the world, invested in Bush's startup oil company, Arbusto Energy Incorporated. This clearly shows how George Bush would highly benefit from the attacks. And, apart from Bush, the Silverstein family would also benefit from the 9/11 incident. On January of that same year, Larry Silverstein, head of Silverstein Incorporations, purchased the World Trade Center for $3.2 billion. He got an insurance that covered terrorist attacks, and on the 11th of September, him, his son Roger, and daughter Lisa, didn't show up for work that day, including many other people. After the attacks, his payout insurance was over $4.6 billion, giving him a profit of $1.4 billion. Also, Robert Mueller, hired as FBI director 4 days before 9/11, did not question them over that. Another conspiracy is about an insider trading bet. Apparently, someone placed a massive short bet on United Airlines and American Airlines companies, just 5 days before both companies' planes were used in the attacks. The man who placed the bet is a Jew banker by the name of Alvin Bernard Krongard, who just so happened to be the number 3 at the CIA on 9/11. The same CIA that Osama bin Laden had a long-standing relationship with because he received assistance from them in Afghanistan. One of the journalists who originally broke this story is Cheryl Atkerson. Maybe you've heard of her because she is best known for being spied on and having her computer hacked by the Obama administration. Pretty great government. Now, let's move on to the Pentagon attack. The main conspiracy is that what really hit the Pentagon was a missile or drone, not American Airlines Flight 77. Early video footage and photos taken from the scene did not seem to show much evidence of plane wreckage. The structural damage to the building was too minor to have been made by a commercial airliner, and question why the plane, which was piloted by an amateur, was even allowed to crash into the headquarters of the United States Department of Defense. In this video from a security camera, you can clearly see that no airplane impacted the Pentagon. Besides, take a look at this plane, which was Flight 77, it's a huge plane that would leave a great deal of damage and wreckage, right? Well, look at this picture of the place where the impact was. It isn't as big as one would hope, and after looking at the mess, you can clearly see that there are no airplane leftovers from the crash. How does a plane 125 feet wide and 155 feet long fit into a hole which is only 60 feet across? Because the plane was a lie. So why would the US want to destroy part of its own Pentagon, the headquarters building of the United States Department of Defense? Well, one reason we already said it, because of the oil interest by the US. But also many materials in the Pentagon library, such as over 500,000 books, documents, historical materials and many art pieces. So why would the US want to destroy all that? Well, supposedly, there were a lot of documents from historic battles and historic materials about presidents that the government preferred just to eliminate. Also, the day before the attack, the Pentagon said they were stolen or lost $2.3 trillion. Luckily, the next day, a plan hit the accounting section of the Pentagon, and no one cared anymore or asked about the lost money. After the attack, the FBI also got there within minutes, and confiscated all the video footage of security cameras. Have in mind that the Pentagon has security cameras in every corner of the building and even cameras near neighboring businesses. From more than 85 cameras, all film was hijacked by the FBI, and after months of lawsuits to release footage, they finally revealed the video we showed you that looks more like several pictures put together. And guess who gave the order for the FBI to take everything? The newly appointed FBI director, Robert Mueller. The only purpose for him being appointed to such a strong position days before the crime was so he could help the authorities cover up the truth. Now, the final part and building we will evaluate will be Tower 7. I think that out of all the attack conspiracies, this might be the easiest one to believe. The official report was that the World Trade Center Tower 7 completely collapsed because of office furnishing fires from the nearby debris when the northern tower collapsed. First off, let me say that Tower 7 was 100% a controlled demolition, and here's why. First of all, the heat of the fires wasn't remotely close to the heat temperature necessary to destabilize that type of building. After the attacks, the University of Alaska conducted a 4-year study of the Building 7 collapse, and their report concluded that there was no way Building 7 could have fallen because of fire. Keep in mind, these are academics, engineers and building experts. And also, Building 7 is the first steel frame building to fall and collapse due to a fire in all the history of architecture and engineering. Apart from this, after Building 7 collapsed, the fire department took over the case. But we all know that when a building collapses, building experts are the ones in charge to determine what happened. And it takes even weeks to get a realistic result as to what happened. And all of the building experts say it's a controlled demolition. The building never fell over, by the way, it collapsed in its own area and footprint, which is what controlled demolitions are known for. If you are not convinced after all the information we've presented you, here are more facts. All the World Trade Center towers were designed to withstand aircraft damages or crashes, because at the time they were being built, the Twin Towers were among the tallest, if not the tallest building in the world at that time. Also, among the scraps and leftovers, there were found iron microspheres from the dust. And this doesn't happen until a thermite reaction, meaning an explosive reaction. Listen to this scientific explanation by Mick West, a British science writer and conspiracy investigator.
So, how did it get from iron microspheres to controlled demolition? Well, it's quite simple. Iron microspheres means that there must have been molten iron. Iron melts at 1600 degrees centigrade. The building fires only burned at 1100 degrees centigrade. And thermite burns at 2200 degrees centigrade. Therefore, iron microspheres must have come from thermite. Simple logic. Also, since there's so many of them, that proves controlled demolition 100%, no question.
So, what else do you need to believe that 9/11 was an inside job for the benefit of certain people and all to find an excuse to go to war with Iraq and Afghanistan, all because of oil? Let us know in the comments your opinions on the 11th of September. As always, don't forget to like and subscribe. See you next time.